Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions regarding this watch. Today, we're discussing outstanding value in complications. From Breitling, a forever brand, comes the Transocean Chronograph 1461, which is almost a forever calendar. Breitling's calendar system needs one correction every leap year cycle, so once every 4 years. It is thus more capable than even an annual calendar. Combined with the chronograph and a moon phase, it is almost a baby Patek Philippe with loom and a chronometer certification to go with it. So the timepiece is big, and this is characteristic of watches made during that time period by Breitling. This launched in 2012 as a model, so it's 43 millimeters in diameter in steel, 15.3 millimeters thick, and then quite broad at 55.2 from lug tip to lug tip, with a 22 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, I would opine that this is a bit too large for me. I think my 16 centimeter wrist doesn't accommodate this. I think you'd need a wrist of 17 centimeters circumference to accommodate this. It's not super thick. It is sheer. It's very cylindrical, but when you actually get right up to it, most sleeves should flow over the side of this, especially if you have a wrist and thus a cuff big enough to accommodate the watch. Any jacket will easily clear this watch, and it does have some grace. It could be used as a formal style, though it's designed as an all-arounder. Taking a look at the strap, Breitling straps are always surprisingly substantial. So here, with the contrasting stitch, the idea is an aviator's aesthetic with the heavy bolstering and the contrast, and yet alligator leather is used rather than the cheaper calfskin you'd expect with an aviation style. There is a lot of leather here. You can see how thick the layers are. There's bolstering or stuffing to add thickness. You've got that contrasting white stitch. You've got sheer cut edges that are lacquered for refinement. Calfskin on the bottom that is wonderfully soft and supple. Note, a brand new Breitling factory strap, not crimped, not gouged. We have here a pin buckle. And it's relatively simple, steel with the Breitling winged logo. This is the pre-Georges Kern Breitling logo. But look at this, it's got an elevated bridge. So when you put the strap inside the buckle, it actually sits flush inside. It's a thoughtful little element. Granted, I'm sure this part came from a supplier, but Breitling chose it well to keep the strap from adding thickness on the wrist. The lugs are slightly stepped. Now, this isn't quite a longa degree of stepped profiling, but I think what the designers wanted to accomplish here was create a case band that wasn't nondescript. So they wanted something more than a simple blended Calatrava-like transition from lug to lug. The case back is set in a little bit, so when it's on the wrist, it doesn't sit quite as thick as the bare measurement suggests. And then the lugs come to a tapered end with a little bit of a soft bevel that expands as it moves towards the end of the lug. Vintage-inspired pump pushers. You can see all around the case, we have pusher adjusters for the calendar system. We have the Breitling logo on the crown, these vintage-inspired pump-style pushers. The watch does feature hacking seconds, just like that. The dial does feature some loom, and you're going to see it now. Now, the dial is a lovely silver metallic. If you get very close, you can see it's sort of a light frosted grain, and then a quality characteristic of mostly pre-1960s chronographs. The aesthetic of the Transocean was designed to be very 40s, 50s, and during that period, when you had a tachymetric scale on the watch, it was usually going to be on the dial itself rather than the bezel. So you can see it is right here. We'll reset the chronograph and show how the tack is used. So let's say a race car starts a kilometer. So when it starts the kilometer, you start the chronograph. Now you're going to wait until the race car finishes up. Let's say it stops right there. That's where it passes the kilometer, the end point. You stop the chronograph when the car passes the end point, and you can see it's right about 300 kilometers per hour, which is very fast indeed. So that's how that works. Taking a look at the crystal, you can see we've got these very flat bezel profiles all the way around, and then a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire that's designed to look like a vintage 40s or 50s plexi. We've got a moon phase. We've got a calendar system that includes every feature of a perpetual calendar but a leap year. And we have coaxial registers, so you can see we have running seconds and the date up at 12 o'clock. We have chronograph minutes and the month over at 9, and then at the base we have chronograph hours and the day of the week. Other features, well, we have a modular chronograph system, but you can see from the action of the seconds hand, it is a vertical clutch module, so there's no jump or stagger or play in the chronograph engagement, which is something I always appreciate. Now, the base caliber that's driving all of this is a ETA 2892A2. This is known as the 19 caliber at Breitling. A is for steel, 19 is the caliber, 3 means chronometer. It is a 5-position adjusted COSC chronometer, so a chronometer grade 2892A2 base, bidirectional automatic winding, 42-hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate, COSC certified chronometer. It's got the stop seconds function. It's got the semi-perpetual calendar and the moon phase. And as you can see right here, we've got that mid-century sort of abstract Breitling double aircraft formation logo. This is designed to be 2 aircraft in formation. We have media blast and polish on the case back. You can see it's 50 meters water resistant, more than a standard dress watch. I still don't recommend you swim with it. Then you've got the vintage Transocean logo right there. These are hugely underrated watches, especially for the complication that you get. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.